Hey there, Knicks fans. How you doing? It's your boy Jonathan Macri with you for another episode of Knicks Film School with my co-host for these little ditties, Chris Persianen. Chris, I don't know. Ditty feels appropriate. Today, for our latest episode of Knicks Film School, we're going to be talking about something that is, I think, not only very, very important for the Knicks right now and for the immediate future, but I think you can make an argument that it is one of the pivot points for their franchise over the next several years, because it gets into questions about how they're going to build their team, where they're going to spend, what they're going to spend their money on, and whether they want to incorporate this individual who we're going to talk about today significantly into their future plans. And that person, of course, is Mitchell Robinson. Before we get to the tape, on the whole, Chris, would you say, I'm not going to ask whether you've been impressed by Mitch, because I think we've yes, I know the answer to that. We've both been very impressed by him. Are you surprised by what you've seen, or is this more or less the progression that you expected to see at this point?
All right. So as one of the, I think it was Alex Collins and I who were most, hey, we don't want to trade Mitch, but maybe this is a thing that we shouldn't call blasphemy when people suggest potentially maybe looking at. And
can you get any more? Can you get any more caveats? Maybe, potentially, kind of.
Yeah, because it was literally, that's all we were saying was
no, I know. I'm joshing with you.
Yeah, and people are like, no, you can't say that. We're like, So, as someone who has been, on the side of maybe this is a player who we look into dealing for assets that the FO is more comfortable using in their journey towards competence. I have to say that I did kind of shut up about that when we brought in Tibbs and Kenny Payne, because those guys are the exact kind of coaches I think Mitch needs. I love bringing in someone like Noel to mentor him, and now Taj. I'm on board with that.
We love Taj here.
We love Taj Gibson. So I gotta say that I don't want to sit here and be like, yeah, I saw this coming. It's just I'm not surprised because of the staff, the infrastructure we have in place organizationally at this point. I'm
not surprised. I'm not shocked, but let me say this. When there was the talk before the year about, Noel, could Noel get the starting job? I was like, yeah, I could see that. I mean, I said that on this podcast. I was wrong.
I didn't buy that for a second.
So I bought it because I watched tape of Noel last year and also thought back to how Mitch was.
He played with Chris Paul.
Yes, but on defense, he did some stuff that was good, and Mitch was inconsistent. And I didn't question the talent. I didn't question the ceiling. I questioned the consistency. And as I think we're going to look at right now, as I get us into our film work, I think the consistency has been pretty good. So what we're watching right now is the beginning of the second quarter of Friday night's game. Mitch has just checked in. He actually got a dunk on the offensive end right before this possession. We're going to go through several minutes of his defense in the second quarter because I think it's really indicative of some of the really good stuff, some of the uneven stuff that we've been seeing from him. So right here already we see something that we haven't seen a lot of from Mitch in terms of him having to do, which is guard the perimeter and still pay attention to the paint. And I just think looking at kind of how so right there, I feel like that even something as small as this, where his responsibility is in the corner and then starts shooting over, and then he needs to recognize instantly that Randall's making that switch and that he's going to come over to contest that shot. I think that's a good sign.
I think with things like drop coverage and how often they're utilized, decision making is incredibly important from your center position if that's who you have anchoring your drop defense. And Mitch is indeed who would be anchoring that for us, and seeing him being able to make the right reads in the right amount of time is incredibly encouraging.
So now next possession, again, he's kind of directing traffic here. And
sealing off the paint, beautiful.
Let's watch this again, because there's this is, to me,
I just haven't seen him do that before this year.
This is high level stuff. Okay. So this is typical. So obviously there's a dribble handoff at the top of the arc. And then Mitch is going to be momentarily dealing with what you do in drop coverage, which is 2-on-1. And he's the one. And so, all right. So right here, he's got one hand. So his positioning right here is perfect. He's got one hand on the roll man, and he's also got his eyes obviously on the ball. He's in position to deter the shot. RJ at the same time is doing what he's supposed to do too, which is he's on the guy's hip. So kudos to RJ here, whose defense has been good. His positioning the whole time there was what forced that turnover. He needed to be in exactly the right spot. And he was in the right spot. So now here again, sealing off middle the whole time, always and this is not easy because Diallo has some moves. And again, that's just like, to me, that's a play in the past where if Mitchell is trying, that's a foul, right?
Yeah, it's a foul. It's 1 out of the 4 or 5 per game that we were seeing. It's just like,
so this is the fake he bites on, right here.
Oh, he goes flying off the screen.
And there's
just
two, there's two fakes and
up through the roof and in the rocket ship and he just jumping jacks all the way up.
But the impressive thing is there was 2 fakes, didn't go for either of them. And then he recognized when Diallo was actually putting up the shot and then actually, went forward with his hand and deterred it deter the shot, and it barely hit the rim. So his responsibility at this point is the guy at the top of the arc who, number 11, is that Maladon? I think it's Maladon, right? But realizes at this point that the play's going middle, and perfect timing on this. And hold on. I should be able to tell. Does he actually block this shot? No, RJ blocks the shot.
Left hand.
Yeah. Okay.
But if that shot did go up,
well, but he was in the right position. Again, he made the right decision.
4th row, maybe it ends up.
But it's again, this is 3 straight plays. He's come into the game, 3 straight plays. He's been in the right place at the right time, made the proper decision, and altered 2 of those baskets. So, notice that Oklahoma City has not scored since he has come into the game. So this is the first one where he gets beat. He's on an island here against a guy who is not a notable perimeter player. But let's see where his mistake is here. That's the mistake. He bites. So he
bites.
That's it. He bites. It happens. But the second jump is there, and it's close. But that's
that's Kenrick Williams. No, not a notable perimeter player.
Not a notable perimeter player.
Took me that long to identify him, so no.
Kenrick Williams had some moments on the Pelicans. Listen,
on the Pels is where he was. That's right.
Yeah, he was on the Pellies, the loaded Pellies that they're getting rid of, the Kenrick Williamses and the Frank Jacksons of the world. I remember when they got rid of Troy Williams and we picked him up and we were like, how could they get rid of Troy Williams? And then we cut him shortly after. Okay, so again, 5 out here. I mean, it's a good contest, but the thing I wonder here is, because I feel like teams are going to do this a lot to Mitch, is he needs to decide. Because, to me, he's kind of in no man's land here, which I understand this is kind of where he has to be in this coverage. But, and I listen, Muscala is a guy that, you have to honor his 3-point shot. Tibbs even said before the game, he mentioned Muscala by name. So clearly, Muscala was in their scouting report. He told the bigs, listen, you cannot leave this guy by himself. And I think, all things considered here, his positioning is fine. He kind of bothers the shot. He kind of doesn't bother the shot. But I know if he went in any further, he wouldn't have bothered the shot. So I feel like this was the best he could do. Good reaction timing. Can you do anything more with that? Not really.
Just whether it goes in or not, that's what he could do there.
But it's going to be it is going to be very interesting to see how teams moving forward try to bring him out of the paint because that's where teams have obviously had success. So like here, that's like he had a foot in the paint there, and that was Horford. So like good positioning here for you.
Yeah. I'm all right with that. Horford can shoot. He is not.
But I think even something like this, it shows a very subtle sign of growth. He could get another step further into the paint because the pass to Horford here would be that much longer of a pass. And he knows he has that much of an extra second to get out and contest if the pass was made to Horford, as opposed to Muscala. It was a much quicker pass. And as we saw, he was able to get the shot up, which is why Mitch needed to be that much closer to his man. So, again, it's a subtle little thing, but it matters. By and large, I think the signs that we're seeing from him, to me, already 9 games into this season are enough for the organization it is enough to justify them looking at him as a core piece, as a legitimate core, as taking him from the interesting young player, let's see how he does. I think we've seen enough. I think they have to move forward figuring out how they can keep him in their plans. And I realize that may be difficult with Randall now and with Toppin, because that's 3 guys who kind of play the same position at this point, right? I mean, I know we'll save the conversation about Randall, the paint defense with Randall at center, or for that matter with Toppin at center, for another day.
There's a reason Taj Gibson is now employed.
Well, yes, but look, there's going to be times over the years to come where Toppin plays center, and for as long as he's here, where Randall plays center. Like, both of those things are going to happen. But even so, I don't know how many minutes a game Mitchell Robinson plays from here on in, when it gets to, God willing, when it gets to like high level playoff games, but he is a weapon. He's a real weapon. He's a legitimate weapon. He changed his not being in the game in the second half changed that game.
I will not make the argument, but I will give credence to the argument presented by Tyrese London and a bunch of different people that Mitch is the best prospect on our team. It's a take, and it's with him anchoring a defense. It's not crazy, and I think we're at the point now where Mitch is actualizing just a crumb of that potential that we knew he had even in his rookie year, watching him play out there. Oh, he can be this, he can be that. It's like he's actually starting to be that. He can stay on the floor. You can have him play big minutes, and he can be effective in those minutes. It's not just like, oh, well, you get him out there for 25 minutes a night and he'll show you some stuff. It's like, this is your starting center now.
Oh no, that's sure. That conversation is over.
We're here.
We're here. We have arrived, and on defense, on offense, we're still, I think, scratching the surface, which is fine. Tibbs, I keep thinking back to what Tibbs said the other day. It's coming, right? He says it's coming. Thank you, everybody, for watching at home. Don't forget, if you are not already subscribed to the Knicks Film School YouTube channel, go ahead and click subscribe. What does Knicks Fan TV say? Click thumbs up for your boys.
For your boys.
Yeah. So if we're your boys too, you could give us a whatever, subscribe. But other than that, we'll be back with you another episode soon, and enjoy the rest of your week.